No arrest, but state police say they have found cases of animal cruelty and neglect on property in the town of Watertown. 7 News reporter Mark Mason Jr. was on scene today and also learned this isn't the first time the property has been the scene of an animal cruelty investigation.
Monday morning, state police, Jefferson County's district attorney's office, and Jefferson County's animal cruelty task force could be seen at this property on Sandy Creek Valley Road in the town of Watertown, armed with a warrant investigating community allegations of animal cruelty.
We had local veterinarians on scene that evaluated the animals.
According to Jefferson County property records, Joanne Armstrong and Leroy Burnham are the owners. While no arrests were made Monday, state police say animal cruelty and neglect is happening. The Animal Cruelty Task Force searched the property for signs of animal malnutrition, lack of shelter, and lack of water. 14 animals were put in trailers and taken away from the property.
They're going to be taken into temporary care for the time being because we have suspicions. Yeah, I would say suspicions of animal cruelty.
On the property, we could see goats, sheep, cows, donkeys, horses, and cats. This isn't the first time the property and owners have been the subject of an animal cruelty investigation. In 2017, the two owners faced 68 counts each of animal cruelty. Eventually, according to the district attorney's office, Burnham and Armstrong pleaded to 1 count each and paid a $500 fine. No arrests were made Monday. State police say the investigation continues. Mark Mason Jr., 7 News.